What's up, Kid Voice Academy? It's your favorite music teacher here, Mr. Ridley, and I'm so excited to be able to learn with you guys today. Now, before we begin, you guys know that I love to start out with doing a little bit of dancing. So when I say go, you're gonna pause this video, go do 2 Just Dance songs, and then come back, and we're gonna learn a little bit about some instruments, all right? Ready? Go. All right, guys. So you guys know that we've been talking about different instruments and different families of the instruments. And we started talking about percussion instruments. You remember, a percussion instrument is a percussion instrument because you either hit it or you strike it to get the sound out. And we talked about 2 different kinds of percussion instruments. We had the non-tuned percussion instruments like the snare drum, where the sound still comes out, but you can't really sing along with it. And then we also have the tuned percussion instruments like the keyboard, where they have melodies that you can sing along. All right, so now we're gonna move on to a different instrument family. All right, but before we talk about that instrument family, I have someone I really want to introduce you to. He's a really cool guy, and he's actually the band director here at KIPP Impact Academy. All right, this is Mr. Evans.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you.
All right, so Mr. Evans, before we begin, I have a question. So like I said that you were the band director, right? And most of you guys know me as the music teacher, where we talk about a lot of different things in music, and we get to play instruments and sing a little bit. But a band director is a little different, right? Can you tell us about a band director?
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Rick. So when it comes to a music teacher, a music teacher just talks about, the general things about music, like what's a percussion instrument, what's a woodwind instrument, and like how do you play it, how is sound made. Those are all great contributions to what music is. But here's what a band director is. A band director is actually doing all of those things, playing all of those instruments and teaching them. So, but here's the thing, y'all. In order for you to really be successful at playing a band instrument, you have to listen to what the music teacher is telling you. Because when you have all of that knowledge, because knowledge is power, when you have that, then when you get to a band teacher, that's when it becomes easy and you make the connection. Just like when you're learning your ABCs in kindergarten. In order to read and know your words, you have to know your ABCs. And that's how a music teacher and a band teacher works together.
And I'm gonna just copy what he said. My favorite class when I was growing up wasn't really just music class, it was band class, when I got to really play an instrument. So teachers like Mr. Evans are very, very important, all right? So we're gonna talk about a brand new instrument group today. What's the instrument group that you brought with you?
Brass instruments.
Oh, nice, that's what's up. So what is a brass instrument?
So a brass instrument is an instrument that requires your lips to do this. Yeah, I just did it. Do it with me. Ready? Go. Yeah, that's how you get a sound on this instrument. It's called buzzing your lips together. Okay? That's what a brass instrument is.
Okay, nice. What are the brass instruments made out of?
So, this is a brass instrument, right? This is part of the brass family. Okay, you see it's shiny, right? It's made out of brass. Okay? All brass instruments are made out of brass. Some of them are gold, some of them are silver, some can be purple, some can be green. But any instrument that requires you to have a mouthpiece and you have to buzz into it, then it's called a brass instrument. Every brass instrument has a mouthpiece. Now check this out. Now watch closer. Try to zoom in as best you can. Everybody smile. Can you smile? Ready? Go. But this time, don't show your teeth. Ready? Go. Now, try to talk when you smile without showing your teeth. Ready? Go. You can't, right? Because when you're talking on a brass instrument, you're actually buzzing your lips together. Now, remember how I said how you buzz your mouth? Ready? Let me see if you remember. Ready? Go. Yeah. So you're doing this, right? But here's the thing. You got to control that air inside of this mouthpiece. Okay, you don't have a mouthpiece right now. Not yet, but you will one day. Now, when you do it, you hear how that sounds? Yeah, and all I did was inside of the mouthpiece. That's how you know you're playing a brass instrument.
Nice. So just to kind of compare the two groups that we've already talked about a little bit, remember that a percussion instrument, in order to get the sound out, you have to hit it or strike it. You don't necessarily have to use your air to produce the sound. So we also call these wind instruments. And there's another group that we're going to talk about that are also wind instruments, but we're going to talk about those a little bit later. But Mr. Evans actually has one of my favorite instruments of all time in his hand. What is this instrument called?
This instrument is called a, well, before I tell you, how many like French fries? McDonald's French fries?
Yo. Right.
Burger King French fries?
Yo.
Yo Mama's French fries?
I mean, they all right.
Yeah. This is called a French, can you guess what? French what? French horn. Yep. French horn. And this is pretty cool. Do you want to hear what it sounds like?
Yes.
You want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Y'all ready? Here we go. This is a French what? A French what? All right, French horn. Here we go. That's a French horn. Does it sound French? No. Are French fries French? Well, maybe. I don't know.
Are they?
from
That's a good
France?
question.
Yeah,
I don't know. But Mr. Evans, can I ask you, if you could you just bring a little bit closer to the video so they can see what it looks like?
French horn. See how shiny it is?
And you guys can see like all the different tubings and how it's all connected.
Ooh, nice, right? Hopefully one of you guys will play this one day, right? Cool.
All right, guys. Now, normally what I would tell you to do is to pause the video and go look at another person playing the instrument. But what I'm actually going to ask you guys to do is to wait until at the end of the video where I'm going to show you a whole bunch at one time, all right? But we're going to move on to our next instrument. This is one I actually got to play when I was in high school. What is this instrument called?
All right, y'all. So this right here is called a trombone. Can you say trombone?
Trombone.
All right, trombone. This is also a, what kind of instrument? Start with a B? Brass, that's right, brass instrument. And this right here is called the mouthpiece. Now, how could you make a sound on a brass instrument? What should your mouth do? Can you remember? What should your mouth do? That's right. That's right. So what you do is, this mouthpiece is bigger, right? You see how much bigger this is? This is the French horn mouthpiece, and this is the trombone mouthpiece. You see how much bigger that is? Yeah. We'll talk about how you would play each instrument, because with each mouthpiece, you have to set your lips differently. But we'll talk about that later.
But I actually want to say something, because Mr. Evans said something that's really important. He was talking about the different sizes of the mouthpieces. Now, before he plays this instrument, I want you to listen. I want you to think of which instrument is lower and which instrument is higher. I'm going to give you guys a hint, though. Usually, the bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. The smaller the instrument, the higher the sound, all right? So listen and see if you can tell which one is lower and which one was higher. So if you're listening, you could hear that the trombone is lower, right? Because it's a bigger instrument, and like Mr. Evans said, it has a bigger mouthpiece, so it's gonna make a lower sound. But if you were watching him play, you could see that he wasn't pressing any buttons or anything, right? So how are you making different notes?
So the trombone, you see how it goes from this, it's this length, right? Watch this, magic. Goes all the way down. Wow, how do you do that? Well, that's something you'll learn as a band student, but what you learn in this as a music student, it will help you. This is called a trombone slide. This is a slide. This is the only brass instrument that uses a slide to get the notes. You have to memorize the slide positions. I'm gonna give you a little secret. I want you to remember this. I want you to be still. I want you to look real close. I'm about to teach you some band stuff. All right? With a trombone, you have 7 positions. 7, right? This is position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. And when you continue to learn with Mr. Ridley, he can start showing you these stuff on like a diagram, and so you can see it. So if you want to play trombone, you already know going into a band class. So make sure you listen and follow directions when Mr. Ridley talks to you about this, okay?
Nice, nice. So I think we have one more instrument that we're going to look at today. And this one is a little smaller, so it should sound a little different. And it's a different color. But like Mr. Evans said, a brass instrument is still a brass instrument even if it's made out of a different color. So even though this one's silver, it's still a brass instrument. But what do you think it's called? What is it called?
I think it's trumpet? Trumpet, yeah, this is a trumpet. Now, this is my favorite instrument. This is my favorite. This is what I started playing when I was a kid. But here's the thing, this is why you need to make sure that you pay attention to your band directors and your music teachers. I'm not a French horn player, but I had to learn it so that I can teach it. I'm not a trombone player, but I had to learn it so I can teach it, same as Mr. Ridley. He had to learn these things, and that's the only way we could have graduated college. We had to learn it, all right? So this is a trumpet, and I want you to listen to how I play it. Much different, right?
Like, I don't even know what to say after that. Like, that was pretty amazing, right? So there's a couple of other brass instruments I want to make sure that we are able to see, but I'm going to make sure that you guys look at a video that's attached to that, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson today. We looked at a couple of the brass instruments. We learned about it with Mr. Evans. Make sure that you give a big thumbs up, a big wave to Mr. Evans on the way out. And